Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and actually, wait, hang on. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to ORL Season 11, Round 9 here at the Circuit of Spielberg in Austria. Once again, you have myself and Maku to take you through all of today's events, starting off with qualifying the 18-minute session, which we are about to make our way into.
So I hope we see some fast laps here in Spielberg. That's actually not that far away from me, so well.
Is it your home track?
No, my home track would be Hockenheim.
Okay. So Hockenheim's a bit closer than
Yeah.
Austria. Great. Don't forget, ladies and gents, as always, if you do have any messages, throw them into the YouTube chat. We are always more than happy to respond or give a few shout outs on stream. Of course, if you notice any issues happening with the stream, do let us know, as it always helps us out just to improve the stream quality. We have 13 drivers for today as we have started the qualifying session. Soron flexes Marcy Etnik. Wow, 125. Crew 6. Triton Matthias Photon, who came third last time out in France. Relgon, who we have not seen at all this season, but is a very quick driver. Ballas Kevin. Brownie. Triton Lehman, who also had a fantastic run and had his best result of the season last time out. VSR Bird and Kopi round out the rest of the field. I've just realised as well, Maku. So remember how I was saying I'm not at home?
Yeah.
It appears that it has wanted to meddle with my sound settings. So, well, now it's just like I don't think anyone can actually hear the game audio, which is absolutely fantastic.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, perfection.
Well, it would be worse if they wouldn't hear us.
that would be pretty bad. You can take that one. Yep, that would be the worst thing possible. However, I am extremely amazing when it comes to technology. I'm not. I'm absolutely awful. So, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do some magic, and hopefully get everything working. I see. So here, it doesn't want to give the right output. If I switch over to this, and I come in, we have game sound now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for Austria. We're sitting on board with Soron, who is not on a hot lap, it seems. Who is, though? Flexes Marcy coming around the final corner. Let's sit on board with them for a bit, then. So, heading into turn 1, brakes on about 90-meter board, down to third gear, straight back on the power. Little bit of a twitch on the rear end as he now makes his way up the hill into the kink of turn 2. Always flat, pull it right over to the left. 100-meter board right down the gears into first gear. Easy on the power, easy to lose at the back end. DRS up, and now down into turn 4, where you always want to get the late apex into this. About 70 meters, swing it around for a late apex. Bit of a drift from the back end, and now through the kink of 5 into the very blind turn 6. He tries to take as much curb on the outside as possible, but lock up on the front left will compromise him now. Through turn 7 and 8, let the car out as much as you can. Straight back on the power, up into 7th gear, and now heading into turns 9 and 10 to complete the lap, using up all the curb on the entry, throwing it in, and now dropping it down into 4th gear, feeding the power back in. What's it gonna be? Is looking fast. It's a 104.9, but he's a second down on Etnik, who is the man who's currently in first. Let's sit on board also with Triton Lehman, because he was very quick last time out, and hopefully he should be able to do something similar here today. And Triton Lehman making his way into turns 6 and 7, has a much better run through 6. Doesn't take much curb into 7, but he takes everything on the exit through 8. 103.8 is the time to beat, but Lehman looking like he wants to peel into the bits, and he will do so. And wow, actually going to follow him as well. Soren hasn't done a lap yet. Crew 6 is still out on track. He's done a 104.4, but Etnik looking very, very quick here, Maku.
Yeah, I think to 103 is already a very good time, and he 1 or 2 tries left this session.
And the weird thing here for Austria is we don't have Hypers, we don't have Formula Danny, we don't have our 2 Sauber esports drivers either. And of course, Hayes and Colligan are not here, which means, while, yeah, it's a little bit of a bad thing in terms of the championship that we don't have this battle continuously going on, it's also a really good thing because it means that there's a lot more points for some of the teams at the lower end of the championship. So this race is arguably more important than the last 3 races that some of these drivers have been in. Just going to turn my game volume down a little bit.
Right.
That should be a little bit better. And also, you know, going back to what we saw last time out at France at the Circuit Paul Ricard, when we look towards, I mean, the biggest surprises was when we look towards Williams. Triton Matthias had his debut. He had a really strong running. He finished a little bit down the order. But Triton Lehman, an absolutely fantastic result to finish, I believe it was second. Yeah, second. And it's looking good for Williams because they've now jumped up into 7th place in the standings, 1 point behind Racing Point. And, you know, they've got so much they can show. Also, Photon did really well in Canada, showed that once again at France, finishing 3rd on the podium after Mark picked up a penalty. So, for both Photon and the 2 Williams driver, I think this is going to be absolutely huge for them. And speaking of Photon, he's on an outlap right now, but I want to pay attention to VSR Soron. Okay, no. Never mind. Forget Soron.
Yeah.
Let's look at Lehman. Let's look at Lehman, because he's actually on a hot lap. Or has he just come out of the pits? I think he's on a hot lap. There's a yellow flag out in Sector 2. I'm not quite sure what that's for. There's a racing point ahead of Lehman. Everything seems fine as he heads down into turn 6. We'll be able to...
Milky, you just lowered your game sound too much now.
Oh, did I? Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Is it now just inaudible?
Yeah, near. Lehman goes up to 3rd with a 104.1.
Yeah, Triton Lehman up into 3rd. We'll have to see what Triton Matthias can do as well. He's just started his hot lap, pulling it into turn 3, and he's actually going to get out of the way of one of the Haas's. That's Crew 6. Let's take a look at Soren as well, because he is now on a lap. Photon up into 2nd as well with a 104.0, but Etnik is the only driver at the moment who has managed to get into the 103s. Another interesting thing that we're seeing here at Austria, which we haven't seen at any other track, every time we always see the drivers going out on those hard tires first to put in a lap, and then they go down to the mediums and then to the softs. But here at Austria, everyone straight out onto those soft tires. Soren comes through the final corner, runs a little bit wide. I'm not sure if that's going to invalidate his lap time. What's it going to be? It's a 104.4, and that will see him up into 8th, splitting the 2 Renaults. Triton Matthias overshooting into turn 3. Was a 10th up at the end of the first sector. Let's see if he can improve at all. But still, the surprise of the day is Etnik, currently sitting in provisional pole. Can Triton Matthias have anything to say about that? He was beaten by his teammate Lehman in France, and be looking at to make amends for himself just a little bit, but Matthias will be coming into the pits. Be right on board with Ballas Kevin, who's coming through turn 10 to complete his lap. It's actually looking fairly quick. It's going to be a 104.6, so enough to take him to 12th, but that is it.
Those 13 drivers has 1 second difference. So like Etnik is, I think he has the most most time between him and the guy following him, because he's like more than 2 tenths, and everyone else is directly following.
Let's sit on board with Railgun, because he's currently sitting in 3rd and the only driver out on a hot lap. It's very late on the brakes, about 90 to 80 meters, and he overshoots a little bit as we get a little bit of a jump. Bit of a lag spike coming in, but Railgun down the back straight. How late does he brake? Fairly late. Look how much curb he takes. Down to 3rd gear, won't drop into 2nd. Back on the power. Using up all the entry curb. Lock up on the front left. But it's looking alright. Let's see what his delta is. 600ths up at the minute. He's right on 2nd. He might just about jump ahead of Photon with this lap if he can really nail turns 9 and 10. Into turn 10 we go. Won't take the yellow sausage part of the curb. And it's looking good. It's a 103.9 Railgun up into 2nd place.
Photon starting that right now too.
Yeah, let's go on board with Photon, because apparently Etnik is on a lap, but we just looked over to him and he was backing well off. So looking like Etnik trying to have it 2 setup laps. But here we go, Photon up into turn 3, so late on the brakes. He's 100th down on his personal best right now, but if he finds 1/10, he'll be right up there with both Railgun and Etnik. Here we go, into turn 4. Drifts out a little bit wide, back onto the power. Shouldn't lose too much time, but this is where you can gain so much. Turn 6 and 7. He'll pull the car back in. And into 7 we go. Almost 2/10ths up, using up all the exit room through turn 8. And this is looking good for Photon. Just has to hook up the final 2 corners, throwing it into 9 and down to 4th gear for turn 10. Back on the power. What is it going to be? It's a 103.8, and Photon will move up into 2nd place. Meanwhile, Etnik is on a lap, but he is 2/10ths down, and Etnik will peel into the pits.
But still, his first lap was still his pole.
Yeah, and Matthias has moved up into 6th place, right on the cusp of Lehman. So it's going to be Williams locking out 3rd row of the grid for now. But let's take a look at Soren. He's coming around to start a new lap. And you can never really rule Soren out, especially when some of the big names are missing today. So expect this to be a fairly quick lap, as there's a yellow flag at the end of sector 1. But that is now green and hopefully won't interfere in Soren's lap too much. A lot of soft tyres are being used there in Maku. Heading into the race, what strategy do you think we're going to see? Just straight softs to mediums?
Yeah, I think in Austria that will be make sense. But you know, maybe there are some people who want to try something out, especially from the back of the grid. They could start on mediums, the 11th to 13th place. Let's see what they're.
As Soren peels into the pits, and that will be that. Ballast Kevin, he improved by 0.4 of a second. He's now sitting in 7th place. Railgun is on an outlap, so we'll just sit with him for now, at least until Etnik and Photon come to start a new lap. So one thing that I'm interested in, Maku, is you mentioned how we might be seeing a few different strategies coming in from those medium tires. Anyone can really go for that, because usually you have the issue if you go for one of the harder compounds in qualifying, you're going to start all the way down the grid. Whereas here in Austria, the worst you can be starting in is 13th place, which will make that kind of second strategy, that alternate strategy, much more feasible.
Yeah. Because in the end, if you get up into the places where you get points, you maybe can get the fastest lap if you are out with the softs.
Yeah. And, you know, if we see one incident on the opening lap as Railgun loses the back end, and that is going to be his qualifying over and done. Because I don't think he can get around. I don't think he has a tyre life to start a new lap. As I think, is Soren on a hot lap, because he's really pushing. Getting the glitch where the racing point is constantly at max rev. So we will not be sitting on board with Soren for the remainder of this session.
We had this so often last year.
Yeah. I'm going to sit on board with Matthias, because he's just ahead of Lehman. So let's see what Matthias can pull out. Also, do correct me if it's Matthias or Matthias. I'm not sure. Because I think it's Matthias. Anyway. Matthias coming through turn 3. DRS activated. If he can fight... This grid is so close together. 7/10 separating first all the way down to 12th place. This is insanely close. One little mistake, one slight under rotation can be the difference between Matthias being in 6th all the way up to 3rd. Through turn 8 we go, into 9 and 10. Matthias using up all of the track, looking clean so far. Has to correct for a little bit of oversteer. Through turn 10, could have been a bit quicker, but it's looking fast. It's a 1:03.9, but it is not going to count because Matthias has run wide somewhere. But Lehman moves up into 4th place and jumps ahead of Kopi. Speaking of Kopi, I think he's on a slow lap right now, and he's going to have to give it up. Palace Kevin starting a lap. What about... He sets a 1:04.0, but that will also not count. What about Flexus Marcy? He runs completely wide through the final corner, and his lap will not count either, as Photon runs wide into turn 3. What about Etnik? He has completed a lap, but it is not...
A Ferrari just spun. I think it was Marcy, yes.
Flexus Marcy has spun as... Not quite sure what's happening. Kopi, though, should be able to hold on to 5th place, as Flexus Marcy is out and will be starting dead last in 13th place. Can anyone else really improve? Brownie did well last time out. He's a 10th up at the minute, and this could be enough to see him move all the way up into 9th place. He just needs to hook the final corner as we get a little bit of a lag coming in. Brownie, what will it be? It's looking fast. A 1:04 point. Actually, it's 0.5. He loses 0.2 in the final sector, and that will be gutting for him. Etnik will pull out of his lap. A job well done, as Etnik will take his first ever ORL pole position.
And Kopi just got to fourth because he was like, I think there was 1 second left on the clock as he passed start and finish line.
So Kopi jumps back ahead of Triton Lehman and wow, separates the two Williams drivers. So this is looking like an absolutely massive day for McLaren with Etnik and Kopi right up at the sharp end of the field. So to finally confirm then, this is how your grid will look for round 9 of ORL season 11. Etnik takes pole ahead of Photon and Railgun. Kopi completes the second row of the grid ahead of Triton Lehman as well. Splits Lehman and the second Williams of Matthias. Ballas Kevin in 8th place ahead of Crucix and VSR Bird. Soren takes 11th ahead of Brownie and Flexus Marcy. And 6/10 separating the entire field with the exception of Flexus Marcy. Marcy has a lot to find in the race. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be doing our standard intro to the race, which we use for the highlights video. Don't forget to share this link and get all your friends over to watch the race unfold, because this is going to be a big one, boys. With Hypers and Napadovsky not taking part, this is a really big chance for Photon. If Photon can find a win here, he will move up to 97 points. Only 9 points behind Velocity Hypers. And that is big for the championship. Obviously, Hypers unable to take part today. We'll go into that in just a second. Right, as we await to get onto the grid. So, quick prediction, Maku. Who's going to take it? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round 9 of ORL season 11 here at Spielberg, Austria. It's an unusual one today because Etnik is lining up in first place for his first ever ORL pole position. Photon is in second ahead of Railgun and Kopi in the second McLaren. Triton Lehman starts in 5th place ahead of Wow, Triton Matthias and Ballas Kevin. Crucix is in 9th ahead of VSR Bird in 10th. Soren takes 11th with Brownie in 12th ahead of Flexus Marcy. And it looks like we are going to have to restart the session because everything has kind of gone a bit crazy, Maku.
Well, I'm not really crazy, but just Railgun drove away and the rest of the grid is still standing.
So I've been told that we need to restart the session. Now, I don't want to get too hasty and restart the session only to find out that I shouldn't have, and then I can no longer stream the race. So I'm going to go and confirm with our race director whether we should restart the session or not. As it looks like F1 2019 is just being F1 2019 right now. I mean, we could just have a one-horse race with just Railgun. You know, you never know.
Like driving alone, we're just watching him, and
yeah,
every round we like met. Oh, he got 1 inch wider.
Okay, so it wasn't just me who was liking at the start. Then it's everyone. So, Maku, you need.
Oh,
wait, I thought Lehman was going as well there for a second.
Yeah. But I don't think it will work for him.
I just want to see what happens here actually, because Railgun is coming around the final corner now.
Right.
So, what's going to happen? Oh, are we going to get a race start?
He's driving just through. That
here he comes. Oh, actually really curious to see what happens here. Because it's definitely Railgun who's still in control. Oh,
Oh, boy.
Okay. I don't know what's happening. Railgun's hitting people, but he's driving through them at the same time. So very interesting. I think it's time to quit the session and join a new one.
That is not how you drive in Formula 1.
I mean, it wasn't his fault because the computer takes over the car at that point. So
Yeah, I know. That's as it was in the qualifying. I think Kopi's car just hit the back of some hazard or something like that, and he broke, and then as he had some distance, he just went up to speed again and just hit it again, and like I don't know what happened to the AI there.
right. So okay, hopefully our second attempt at starting round 9 here at Austria will go a little bit better than the first attempt. For those of you joining us just now, Etnik is lining up on pole position. However, Codemasters happened, so we have to restart the lobby. And let's just leave it at that, shall we? Right. So,
What?
Maku, we need to fill up some airtime right now. So,
Yeah,
so give me some, I don't know, give me some jokes, I think.
some joke in
Yeah.
English. Ah.
You can give us a German joke, because that way, even if it's a bad German joke, I won't
You
know.
will-
I won't know, yeah.
Ah. Oh, I don't know. I just thought before we started the stream to think about some pun with
Okay.
the name Austria, but I just
I've
nothing comes to mind. So
I've got a joke for everyone. Are you
I
ready for
will.
it, Maku?
Yeah, of course. I am ready
Yeah,
for
yeah.
jokes every
Here we go. Sebastian Vettel. Is that too far? Is that too far?
time. No, actually, that's somehow funny.
Oh, I'm proud of myself. Never mind. Anyway, right. Time to re-invite everyone into the lobby. And
Yeah.
we can get underway very soon. There's a bit where I forget to invite someone and we just start without them.
It's just
Right.
us as spectators, and there's nobody driving. We just watch the track.
Yeah, perfect. I think we should go. As I said, I'm not at home, so I don't have my racing simulator, so I'd have to be driving on keyboard.
Yes.
I challenge you, Maku, to a 1v1 race, but we both on keyboard.
Oh my gosh, we will die so.
We can have it at the end of the race, like after we do our interviews and everything. We can have like a quick 5-lap race on keyboard.
All right. Yeah. Sure.
If would YouTube, you guys on YouTube, would you be willing to watch that? Because at the end, we're here for the fans. So if they don't want to see it, then we show it to them anyway, because they don't know what
But
they
I
want to
think
see.
we should turn on then traction control, because when you're hitting W and you're just like.
See, here's the thing, Maku. I can tell you're not very good at keyboard because you use W. See, any pro keyboard racer, they use AZ and then like the comma and full stop button, or the left and right arrow.
Ah, I know
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I've seen that, but I can't get with it because I'm used to.
Yeah. I mean, it's the equivalent of trying to drive a car with 1 foot or using 2 feet. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
But you can drive an automatic car with just 1 foot, so.
True. I mean, if you're really good, you can do heel toe brake clutch. And do that. I don't know. It might be a thing.
You just drive. You don't use your feet to drive. You drive with your hands.
Oh
the
yes.
Pedals.
Yeah, and you just use like your mouth on the steering wheel.
Yeah. Yes.
But I think if we do the race, I think we have to do no assist. We have to do manual as well. How this works, I do not know. But
I have to look
we'll
up
do it.
I have to look up the how to steer that car then.
I mean, if we want to make it even crazier, we can let YouTube decide the controls.
Oh, we will so die.
I mean, I can just see them deciding like left arrow is right and right arrow is left. That alone would just Kill me.
And then something like, you know, one is throttle and like the 0 is braking. You know what the funny thing is? The German keyboard has the we have some extra characters like the with the points up. I don't know if you know them.
Oh yeah, with the accents.
No, they're just so that's the French thing. But we have like 2 points above an O, an A, and an U. And
Okay.
and they're like next to the P and 2 next to the L, and I don't know which. You know, every time I go into a game and I press these buttons, there's something standing like hashtag or comma, but there is no comma on my keyboard.
Also, Mako, I've just realized something. So, because we are restarting the session, it means that the drivers are no longer in qualifying order.
Isn't that possible to do that?
I don't think you can manually put in a grid order.
I think it was possible. I don't know.
If it's possible, that's great. But if it's not possible, does that mean we've got to go into qualifying and make qualifying happen how we want to? Or do we have to do a rolling start? Okay, so, you can customize grid order. How do you do that? Oh, starting grid, custom grid. Okay. Wow. Codemasters finally put in something good for once.
Yeah, but that was in 2018 too, I think. Because I tried it there, but I didn't try it in 2019 because I was never hosting a multiplayer session.
I was really hoping for a rolling start, I'm not going to lie. Just for something different.
Yeah, that would be something funny too.
Yeah.
Especially in Formula 1.
I think we should have just done a reverse grid. That would have been the best.
But not the reverse grid that the last is the first, but everyone's the other way around.
No. Even better than that would be we get we just do random grid, or we do random, and we keep doing it until Codemasters randomly gives us grid order from qualifying.
That is a beautiful idea.
The most efficient way to do things, without a doubt.
Yeah. Or we just drive the whole track backwards.
Right, it looks like it's finally time for me to do my intro that I've been waiting to do for a while. So, we'll get going in a bit. I'll leave constructors to you as usual, Maku.
Yeah, sure.
Hopefully this time we don't get a weird lag and force us to cancel the race. Also, I just want to give a shout out to those fans that we can see on the balcony above the pit lane. I mean, they've been waiting for a really long time. And, you know, look at them. They're still clapping. We don't know what they're clapping at, but something's going on down on the circuit.
But have you seen the people in like, I don't know how to pronounce FIFA? FIFA?
Oh yeah,
the
FIFA.
football game.
Yeah.
Yeah, FIFA. Those fans are like stupid as fuck.
I mean, I'm no offense to any football fans, but is there a difference between them and the real fans? As a football fan myself, I probably shouldn't have said that, but...
Well, I'm not a football fan, so I don't really care.
I just look at football fans like, hey, look, a player gets injured and they're jeering at their player. I'm like, come on, really? So...
Milky, you have to show the game screen.
Wait, ooh, you're a genius. I love you, Maku. Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome for round 9 of ORL Season 11 here at Spielberg, Austria. Lining up on pole position for the very first time in his esports career, Nick, with Photon alongside him in the Toro Rosso Railgun. In the Mercedes, starts third ahead of the second McLaren of Kopi. Triton, Lehman and Wow make up the third row of the grid, with Matthias in the second, Williams in 7th place. Ballas Kevin takes 8th ahead of Krusix and Bird, who make up the top 10. Soron, Brownie and Flex's Marcy make up the rest of the grid. In the championship, Hypers currently leads on 106 points ahead of Napadovsky on 76. Photon close behind on 72 points. Mark in 4th place with 47 points, 1 point ahead of Formula Danny and Hayes, who are tied on 46. Nameless is on 37, with Donoso, Stiv and Lehman all tied on 33 points.
And in Constructors Championship, we have Mercedes leading with 131 points, followed by Red Bull with 121 points. Then there is Scuderia Toro Rosso with 91 points, Ferrari with Mio Racing Point, Williams now in Renault, Haas, and McLaren.
Yeah, and we've been talking about how, you know, a couple of absences have meant that Williams and McLaren are in fantastic positions to gain a lot of points here today. Everyone starting
have you noticed?
Yes.
As I said, from 11th to 30.
Yeah. 11th to 13th, all starting on medium tyres. You cut out for a second there, Maku, but all the drivers are lining up on the grid. 10 drivers on used soft tyres with 3 on fresh medium tyres. We are all lined up to start race 9 of the season. The lights are out. And away we go. It's a really good start from one of the Williams here. Triton Lehman up into 3rd place straight away. And look at Sauber diving down the inside. It doesn't look like there are any contacts at all, as Triton Matthias drops down into 9th place, and VSR Bird might be looking to have a go, but look at Wow having a look down the inside. Meanwhile, move for the lead. Photon having a little look down the inside onto Etnik, but Etnik taking none of it at all and will hold on to 1st place for now. Oh, it's actually down behind. That's a big dive bomb coming in from Wow. You can see the brakes lighting up, but he's not going to be able to get past Crew 6 just yet. On the outside now for turn 6. He will just have to hold on to 7th place. It's a good start from Crew 6 and Triton Lehman. So we come round to complete the opening lap of the Grand Prix. Lap 1 of 36. And it is a 3-way battle for the lead at the minute. The question is, can Etnik just pull away, stretch out that lead? And we talked about this being McLaren versus Williams. Currently it's McLarens who have the big advantage, with Triton Matthias losing out a lot of ground on that first lap.
Yeah, Abakobi, they lose 1 place too. So for Williams to get more points, they of course have to, Matthias has to gain some places.
Now, Photon doing a good job staying within touching distance of Etnik, and they're dragging Railgun with them as the gap starting to stretch out to the 2nd McLaren of Kopi. As actually down the grid, Bird, I think he's getting quite close to Matthias, who is in this group that stretches all the way up to, I think, Crew 6. As Matthias runs wide, and he'll maybe run wide again, and this is going to give Bird a really good chance heading into turn 1. DRS not activated just yet, and Matthias will not have to go defensive.
So now we already have activated DRS for everyone past the line.
And here we go. This is going to be Photon's first chance of the race to have a go onto Etnik. He's fairly close. Is he too far behind? Yes, he is, and he'll just slot in for now. As Soren goes past Bird. Actually, no, Soren holds on to 9th place. Forgive me, but Bird on the cutback. Oh, he has a massive snap on the back end. Keeps it going, though. But Bird still in 10th place, as there's a yellow flag in Sector 2. And that must be Flex's Marcy, who is lagging who is very far behind the rest of the field and missing his front left end plate. As Bird drops a few places and he's in the wall and has retired from the session. He's lost that through turn 7 or 8, and straight into the wall as Sauron, I think, also having a bit of a moment. Sauron is into the pit, so I think Sauron must have tangled up there with a bird, but we can't be sure just yet. Here we go, Photon, he's looking close to Etnik. Will he have a go this time around? No, he will not. But he is very, very close indeed.
Yeah, but Etnik is still defending very, very good.
Yeah.
But I still think that Photon will find some way to pass him. Maybe they'll switch places again then, but let's see.
Let's take a look. Soren 22 seconds down behind Ballas Kevin. Flexus Marcy 9 seconds further. Drifters, wow, picks up the first time penalty of the race, and it's a 3-second time penalty as well. So Brownie is running on those medium tires, Soren on the hard tires. So that's a bit of an interesting one. As Photon, is he going to look for the inside? No, he will not. He's just going to look to get the better run out of turn 3, and it's a decent run, but is it enough? It's probably the closest he's been all race. Will he have a look into turn 4? He has a glance, but that is about it.
Sauron is already on hards. Do you think he will be able to make it till the end with that?
It's going to be interesting. You have to think that it's worth the risk in the situation that he is in.
Yeah, I think too. I mean, stopping another time would be like dropping behind even Marcy, and then you're last. So
yeah. The other thing to bring up as well is, do they have the tires? Do they have another set of spare soft tires to run?
Yeah, that's right. Because I think nearly all of them just got 3 or even 4 laps in qualifying with these soft.
Let's take a look at Wow, because he's fairly close to Crucix. However, Crucix has DRS himself. On to Kopi as this battle for 5th place starting to intensify. As up ahead, here comes Photon. I think he's going to go for it this time. Down the inside, and he will make it work. Can Etnik get the cutback? No, he will not, and Photon will take the lead. And now the question is, can he pull away? Does he have enough in that Tauros to stretch out the lead? Relgon is still tagging along with these guys as Kopi made a bit of a break from Crucix. Relgon, he has DRS. Etnik as well on to Photon. Bit of a gap starting to emerge between the top 2 and 3rd and 4th as my game wants to lag just a little bit as Kopi is pulling away from Crucix, and look at Wow right on Crucix's tail. He's going to look for the outside. Will he go for the cutback or hang it round the outside? He's going to go for the latter, but he just has not got the drive. And Wow will have to settle for 7th place for now. Crucix with a bit of a lock-up. Wow will close in. Keep an eye on the gap from Railgun to Kopi, because that's currently at 1.6 seconds, and Kopi looks like he's just found a little bit of pace. Oh, Crucix runs really wide through turn 7. Wow, right on Crucix's tail. Crucix will go defensive. Wow, round the outside, heading into turn 9. He's gonna try to hang it around the outside. He'll be able to do it. Round the outside into 10. Wow, Crucix, they're still side by side. Look at Matthias. He's looking to take the pair of them. DRS enabled. Down the inside. Can he take 6th place? He'll force Wow out wide, and it is still at 3 side by side. Here comes Crucix, but he's got nowhere to go. He's got Matthias alongside him. Matthias going to be looking for the inside into turn 3. Crucix backs well out. Can he get the better run? He's going to look for it, but he's losing the back end. And Crucix will have to take 8th place. Wow, can he have anything onto Matthias into turn 4? He's going to look for the outside as Matthias goes defensive. Lockup from Matthias as well. On the cutback, Marcy picks up a 3-second time penalty, but I think Matthias has just about secured 6th place. As up ahead, actually, Lehman was able to find a way through onto Etnik.
But I think those first 4 people are able to in that order because they all have DRS, and if they won't make a major mistake, I think they will.
Oh, Etnik really late on the break, makes contact with Lehman, and Etnik falls to 4th place with that incident. And now up ahead, Railgun looking to have a shot onto Lehman, as Lehman breaks really late and Railgun can't quite get the drive, and Lehman will be able to hold on to 2nd place. And Kopi only 1.4 seconds down on Etnik. So that gap slowly closing. But crucially, Etnik from 1st place down to 4th in what was just a couple of laps.
Well, it's already 9. It's Austria.
Yeah.
Austria is a very short circuit, so we have more rounds in less.
As Wow picks up his 2nd 3-second time penalty. Up ahead, the top 3 are getting very, very close together. Lehman might be wanting to have a shot at Photon, but I think he's just too far behind for now, as Matthias has stretched the gap to over a second to Wow as Crucix closes in to Wow. Quick shout out to Feher Daniel. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. How are you doing? But this 4-way battle for the lead is still going on. 36 lap race. Are we expecting, as actually Kevin picks up a 3-second time penalty, but going back to what I was saying, are we expecting the first stop? Oh, that's big. Okay. On my screen, Photon just went into the gravel. So...
But that did not happen. I think it did not happen because else he would have been overtaken.
Yes. Photon is still in 1st place. However, Lehman is close as Marcy picks up a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, as that is a very early pit stop. Not sure if there is front wing damage. Yes, there is. And 2 front wing changes in 1 race from Flexus Marcy as he puts on another set of soft tyres. However, Lehman on the outside into turn 3 will get forced out wide by Photon, but he's got a good drive and he's right on Photon's tail. Photon will hug the inside line, will now move over, try to squeeze Lehman as much as he can. Lehman looking for his 2nd podium in a row. So is Photon. Actually, I think he's looking for his 3rd, and Lehman will take the lead of the race, and now Railgun will be looking for a way through on Photon as well. But we've seen...
So I think those 4 in the front are really going to struggle with each other. So there will be another few position change.
Railgun's just picked up a time penalty as Photon right on the tail of Triton Lehman. 36 lap race, and what I wanted to say is, when do we see the pit stop? Lap 15 or later? As actually, we'll have to hold on to that thought, because Photon, he's looking down the inside into turn 3, and he'll make it work. And actually, Railgun will try to follow Photon through, but he won't get the drive. And this could be Etnik maybe moving back up into the podium, but crucially, Photon retains the lead, or reclaims the lead as Railgun. He has a little look, bit of a lockup, almost loses the back end. As Sauron picks up another 3-second time penalty. Don't forget, if you guys are new to ORL, 5 time penalties will see a disqualification. Also,
So the pit stop, or is something important going on?
here we go. Railgun, I think he's going for the pits. No, he's not. He just looked. He looked down the inside into turn 9. That is just nutty. And that's going to cost Railgun massively. And now Etnik looking for the inside. Kopi has just peeled into the pits as Railgun goes really late onto the brakes and will be able to keep third place. But look at this. Matthias closing in onto Etnik as the leaders are battling like a crazy. Marcy picks up the fastest lap of the race, but he's in 12th, so he's not going to be able to get that fastest point unless you have to think there are going to be another 2 retirements. Whereas Kopi fed out. Kopi has come out in 8th place in very, very clear air, 9 seconds down on Brownie. So he can put in some big laps. The question is, when do we see these top 5 coming into the pit stop? Because what was a 4-way battle is soon going to be a 5-way battle with Triton Matthias in 5th place. Anyone coming into the pits this time around? Yes, everyone comes into the pits. Right, now, the question is anyone going to hold anyone up as Wow picks up a 3-second time penalty? That's his 3rd. So, the first driver into his stall is Railgun. Railgun comes out. Now, Railgun was running in 3rd place before the pit stops. Can he gain anything? Yes, he can! And Lehman will just about feed out ahead of Etnik. And that is close. But look at this. Kopi, he's going to come round. He's going to jump ahead of both his teammate Etnik and Lehman as the undercut is absolutely huge here. As there was also a time penalty for someone, but I didn't quite catch who it was for. So, everyone has pitted onto the medium set of tyres, and it was Krusix who picked up the 3-second time penalty.
No, Matthias Wow didn't pit yet. Brownie didn't.
So, this is absolutely fantastic stuff here for Kopi. As Wow and Matthias are into the pit, and they're going to lose a lot of time. The undercut has really paid dividends. The question is, can they come back towards the end of the race with fresher rubber? As Soren picks up another 3-second time penalty, that's his 3rd as well. Matthias comes out in 7th place, but up ahead, Lehman sweeps ahead of Kopi down the inside with DRS. And will move up into 4th place. And now Etnik might want to have a go on Kopi. I think he's a little bit too far back. And he will not go for a move. So Photon is your... Well, Brownie is your race leader, but Brownie still has to stop. And Matthias is only 1.5 seconds off this group. So all of a sudden, from a 4-way battle to a 5-way, and now we're looking at a 6-way battle for the lead once Matthias joins on to it. As Wow picks up another 3-second time penalty, one more, and that is his race over. However, the McLarens are battling. Etnik on the outside for turn 3, and Etnik will sweep ahead of Kopi with the extra speed up into 5th place. And that's kind of to be expected, considering how far Kopi was behind when the pit stops did happen. Also, just going to put it out there, Flex's Marcia has disconnected. So one more disconnect and then everyone essentially finishes in the top 10 unless they themselves have a DNF. Oh, sorry, he hasn't disconnected, he DNF'd. Pardon me. Matthias closing in onto Kopi. The gap is only 7 tenths. It was over a second 1 lap ago. and Kopi just doesn't quite have the pace. Matthias with the freshest tyres of everyone. Photon and Railgun have kind of left and started their own two-way battle, 1.3 seconds ahead of Lehman and Etnik. And well, Etnik can't really battle Lehman right now because they need to work together to close up to the top two. As Kevin picks up a 3-second time penalty. Oh, Matthias is so close to Kopi. And Kopi, to be fair, hasn't really fallen off Etnik by that much. As Triton Lehman only 1.2 seconds down onto Railgun. Once they get within that DRS, all of a sudden you get that Constantina effect of everyone just closing in and bunching up. Also down in, there's a battle going on for 10th place. Soron closing in to Ballast Kevin, but there's just too much action up ahead as everyone is officially within 1 second of each other as Matthias gets the fastest lap of the race and he is at the back. What could be better for this second the second stint of the races? Matthias sweeps past Kopi up into 6th place. Kopi not going to put up too much of a defense, and Matthias can now chase down the second McLaren of Etnik as Soron picks up another 3-second time penalty. Both Soron and Wow on 4 penalties. One more and they will be disqualified post-race. So, at the start of the race, we were talking about, Maku, how Etnik and Kopi in the McLarens were looking fantastic and slightly better than the Williams. After the first round of stops, it's the Williams that have the advantage, but the big question is, who are we tipping for the race win?
You know, I thought before the race, I thought it was Foden, and that's what it's looking like right now. But I think more interesting will be is who will be second and who will be third.
Yeah, it's a very, very close race indeed. As, however, Railgun has picked up his second time penalty. It's actually Railgun and Photon. I think there was a bit of contact. Railgun will get the drive out of turn 3. However, Photon going to try to hold it around the outside, but Railgun will sweep ahead. Photon, can he do anything down the inside? No, he cannot. Railgun will take the lead. Photon gets right back onto his tail, but I don't think he can find any way through. He has a little look down the inside into turn 6, but will decide against it. So what I wanted to say was Railgun has 6 seconds worth of time penalties. Etnik doesn't have any. Sorry, Etnik has 1 time penalty, 1 3-second time penalty. But none of the other guys at the top have any. Except for Kopi, who has 3. But Kopi's right at the back, so I don't really think that matters as much.
So basically it would be like Photon, Lehman, and then Nick for the podium right now.
Oh, Photon looking down the inside into turn 3. He shows his front wheel. Is it enough? Not quite. Railgun will hold on to second. Meanwhile, Brownie still running on those medium tires. When he makes a pit stop, he is going to close these guys down so quickly. Yeah, and I just double checked. Brownie started all the way down in 12th, so he started on those medium tires, and he's making this strategy work for him. However, the top 4 are now 4 once again. There is no big gap between anyone, and Matthias is very close indeed. Kopi tagging along as well in what is currently 7th place, but will be 6th after Brownie stops. Oh, as up ahead, there's Photon looking for the outside or onto Railgun. He looks for the cutback. Can he get the drive? He is so close right now. DRS Railgun goes to the inside, switches to the outside. Photon down the inside. Soron gets his 5th time penalty. He will be disqualified post-race. Railgun will lose the position, and Photon will retake what is the lead of the race. We ride on board with Etnik, watching everything unfold from up ahead. At the moment, Lehman, Etnik, and Matthias are happy to just watch Railgun and Photon squabble for positions here.
Yeah, but I think if they keep on fighting, Lehman and maybe even Nick can do something up there too.
The other thing is this is also really good for Brownie because it means that when he pits, he's going to be even closer, or he can just stay out on these tires for that little bit longer. As Photon goes defensive, Railgun round the outside. He's going to try to hold him, but Photon will squeeze Railgun. And now Lehman right on the tail. Look at the top 5 splitted by 1.5 seconds. Lehman looks for the inside. Here we go. Railgun breaks late, but Lehman goes down the inside. There's a bit of contact, and Lehman will take 3rd place as now Matthias down the inside, as that is going to be Railgun seeing 2 Williams going past him in the space of 2 corners.
But the problem still for Brownie is he will drop like behind Wow, so he will back to 10th place because all of those drivers up there in the front are that close together.
Yes. Let's see where exactly he will feed out, because it is currently 2 Williams on the podium. It got close to that last time out at France, but this is looking really, really plausible for them, and this will actually see them, you know, jump all the way up to about 5th, maybe even 4th, as Railgun outbrakes himself. He collides with the back of Matthias, and that is his race ruined. And I think he will be DNFing as well. And that's massively affected Etnik and Kopi as well, who are now in 4th and 5th, but they are so far down on the top 3, and I'm not sure if they're going to be able to close in.
And Soren and Kevin are just fighting for the 10th place for the one.
Soren and Kevin are indeed fighting a little bit of contact. Soren down the inside, or more specifically, badass Kevin around the outside. Can he hold on to 10th? These guys don't know it yet, but it will be 9th soon as a little bit of contact comes into play. Soren around the outside, and he'll sweep around the outside of turn 7, and he will take 10th place.
For another pit, so
Kopi will pit onto a fresh set of... Oh no! He had front wing damage. That must be the reason why, and it must have been from that contact with Railgun, as Railgun will peel into the pits and DNF. Soron picks up his 7th time penalty. So Ballast Kevin didn't need to fight right there. Kevin comes into the pits regardless. So there are technically only 9 drivers remaining. Brownie, he's only 1.5 seconds down on Wow, with 13 laps remaining. As Kopi moves ahead of Soren into 8th place.
So basically the front group with Photon, Lehman and Matthias got a little bit of space to nick.
As Brownie sets the fastest lap of the race on those fresh soft tires.
And he's up in 6th again. No, in 7th.
Oh no, Wow picks up a time penalty as well. Thus Wow will be disqualified from the session. So it is just 8 runners remaining effectively. Etnik still in 4th. I think I'm not sure if he's closing in or falling back from Matthias. The gap is 1.7 seconds, so we'll keep an eye on that for now. Meanwhile, Brownie moves ahead of Wow, no issues at all, down the inside into turn 4. Photon, Lehman, Matthias, and Etnik. Your 4 battling for the race lead. Brownie's a further 10 seconds behind. Maybe a second a lap. He can catch up to these guys, but it's going to be a push. Brownie sets a 1:06.6. We'll have to see what times these others are setting us. Lehman looking for the outside into turn 3. Will be forced out wide as Wow picks up another 3-second time penalty. Both Wow and Soren with 6 time penalties now, and they are 100% going to be disqualified after this race. Also, Etnik is now 1.3 seconds down. He's catching up by about a 10th per lap, 2 tenths per lap. And what Brownie wants to see is these guys fighting. Could you imagine if Brownie won the race? The scenes would be absolutely incredible.
I wouldn't know what you say because he started 13th, or was it 12th
12th,
or something?
12th. So
So
second
basically,
last.
he just gone through the grid like by people.
It reminds me a bit of, I think it was Mark Webber who did something similar back at China. When Red Bull, they didn't get him out of the first set of the first qualifying session, so he had to start on the harder tires, but it just worked so well for him.
Didn't Verstappen or that too, even in Austria? I don't know right now but I think I remember something. I don't know if it was Verstappen. But
Hamilton did it in Germany last year. I think.
Yeah, sure.
Did he start last or in the pit lane?
Oh, I don't know that right now. I even watched the race.
Wow, Soren's just set a 105.7, but I don't know, if someone gets disqualified, do they still get points for fastest lap? I wouldn't imagine so if it's a disqualification.
No, I don't think so.
Right, so this is what I want to see. Photon, what lap time has he set? There's a yellow flag in sector 2 and at 3. It's a 107.7. Now Brownie, he's coming into the final part of the lap. 107.7. He needs to be setting 106.5s as Brownie's coming into the pit, so I think he has some front wing damage, and all of a sudden, what was looking like such a good chance has gone to ashes as he picks up a 5-second time penalty as well. Matthias down the inside of Lehman, but Lehman will get the better traction out of the corner. Matthias slots right back in. Look at Etnik. He wants to join in the party. Matthias down the inside, but Lehman once again will hold it. The four-way battle continues, and Brown is actually DNF'd in the pit, so that's really unfortunate for him. Crew 6 should be able to hold on to 5th. He's in no man's land, 10 seconds down from Etnik, and over 10 seconds ahead of Wow, who will be getting disqualified regardless. Lehman, I mean, all credit where credit's due. Photon having an absolutely fantastic race so far. Able to keep the two Williams and the McLaren of Etnik at bay. But here comes Lehman once again. It's a really good run. Photon will go defensive. It's the same story as usual. Lehman around the outside. Matthias watching all of this unfold up ahead. Photon has the inside as we head down the straight in towards the turn of 4. What can Lehman do? He looks for the cutback, but he has to slot in behind Photon. Oh, Etnik just doesn't seem to have the pace right now. And I think that the top 3 will remain as the top 3 unless there is an incident. Also, massive shame to Railgun as well. He would have been right in the middle of this. But it just wasn't meant to be today. Lehman so close to Photon. This race can go anyone's way. Matthias with the freshest tyres. Everyone else on the same tyres. Here we go. Once again, Photon on the inside. Lehman can't make it work around the outside, and Matthias tries to get a decent run, but just can't find a way through. Lehman on the outside heading into turn 4. Actually, I think he might have done it this time, and he will sweep past Photon and take the lead. Soren picks up another time penalty. He's probably picked up a time penalty at every corner on the track now. While these guys up at the front battle for the win, Soren and Wow battling for most time penalties ever in a race.
Wasn't it like even possible in France or something to like drive all the time outside of the track and you won't get a penalty for that because you're not entering the track again, so the game won't detect it?
Wait, really?
I think it was possible one time because somebody like said a lap with
yeah, it's possible. You can do it around the outside of the circuit. Photon looking down the inside though. Won't be able to make it work as Crew6 picks up his 3rd time penalty of the race. 5.5 laps remaining. You have to mention though, if you do it out front, you are always on tarmac though, because you could technically do it out Austria, but you would go on the gravel at multiple points.
Yeah. But in France, I think you can even be faster than if you race on the normal track.
Yeah. I think you could do it down the inside or outside. Both of them work, actually. Wait, no, you can't do it down the inside because you'd rejoin the track on the start-finish straight.
Yeah.
So, outside it would have to be Matthias falling back from Photon, and Etnik is hunting Matthias down. The Williams 1-2 dream is still alive as we enter lap 32 of 36 with only 8 of the original 13 drivers remaining. Soren will be getting disqualified post-race due to too many time penalties, so it's technically only 7 drivers left. And 4 of them, Maku, are battling for the lead.
Yeah. If there's that, might get some action.
Yeah. And it could have been more as well if Kopi didn't make another stop, if Brownie didn't DNF, and if Railgon didn't have that incident into turn 3.
Yeah, and I think like we have now like 5 DNFs, and I think we had the same in Baku or Monaco. And this track isn't that. Here you can overtake in like, and I think that's a thing. If some of those overtaking maneuvers go wrong, then you know some people lose their front wings or something. Yeah, that's then the race for them.
Barely a second separating the first 4. Then it's a 14-second gap pretty much between every single driver on the field. No one of the top 4, only Etnik has a time penalty, and it is just 1 3-second time penalty. I don't know how close the others are to getting time penalties, but Austria is very easy to run wide. Etnik, he took pole as he almost loses the back end. I think Etnik's tyres have had enough, and he's going to be falling back from this point onwards. If only Brownie was still in, he could have maybe snapped Etnik right back up. And now it looks like we are back to a 3-horse race at the front. We'll have to see whether Etnik does have anything left in those tyres, but it's looking unlikely now. Photon down the inside, and Matthias will actually be trying to follow Photon through. Lehman forced to the outside, and Matthias moves up into second place. Lehman is on the outside. There's a little bit of contact. The thing is, if Lehman tries to battle with this, Lehman will let Matthias go. Matthias down the inside into turn 4. Then the Williams switch around, and it's Matthias' turn to find a way through on Photon. He's being hung out to dry through turn 6, but he almost makes it work. And now Lehman down the inside. This is enough for Etnik to join the battle. Matthias still on Photon side by side as they head in towards turn 9. Could you have asked anything more from tonight? Photon gets pushed out wide, and now Lehman trying to follow through into turn 10. Matthias takes the race lead onto the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix. Photon has nowhere to go. It's Lehman down the inside. Lehman cuts the corner. Matthias picks up a time penalty. And this is absolutely incredible, Maku.
You know, they just, both of the Williams just attacked Fojan, and they were like both next to each other at his tail. Wow.
Soron picks up another 3-second time penalty. However, up at the front, Matthias and Photon battling for the lead. Lehman and Etnik just a bit behind. Matthias has a 3-second time penalty. I don't know if he can pull out 2.5 seconds in one lap, but he's gonna have to try to do it. Can Lehman find a way through on Photon? Because as it stands, Photon is going to win today. Into the final corner we go to start the final lap of the race. The gaps are big, and can actually Photon find a way through on circuit? Can Lehman find the drive through turn 1? It doesn't look like he's been able to, and that might be it, because aside from turn 3, there is no real way to get past anyone. Turn 4 is going to be the final opportunity. Matthias seemingly gets a decent run. Lehman is really far back. Here comes a Photon. Matthias will go defensive. Photon round the outside. Can he make it work? He's got to get squeezed. But Photon on the final lap. He wants the race win on track. He doesn't want it with time penalties. Photon takes the lead. Matthias is in second. Lehman will follow home in third. There are only 2 corners remaining. Photon, anyone can take it home from here. 1 corner left. Photon will come round turn 10, and Photon will pick up his first ORL victory. Matthias follows through in a second. Etnik comes home in third. So Matthias actually got 2 time penalties.
Oh, and
oh my god. What has Krusix done? How has Krusix managed that? The final corner, well, no, turn 9 is run wide.
No, he just don't. Why he lost his traction on his wheel and his tires. I don't know why, but maybe they're too done.
An absolutely insane final lap. Krusix forced to retire. Soren runs wide. He will be disqualified. Kopi jumps up into 5th place. Kopi was right on the tail of Soren, actually. Wow. That was incredible.
Wow.
Final confirmation then, ladies and gentlemen, for round 9 here at Austria is a Photon, who takes his first win of season 11 and his first ever ORL victory. Lehman picked up second last time out in France, and he almost was able to pick up a win this time, but it's going to be 2 seconds in a row for Lehman. Etnik picks up third ahead of Matthias, who picked up his second 3-second time penalty on the penultimate lap. Kopi takes 5th ahead of Ballas Kevin in 6th. Soren will be disqualified for too many penalty points. And Krusix crashing on the final lap. Disaster for the Haas driver. Wow, Brownie, Railgon, Flexus Marcy, and Bird are your other retirements from the Grand Prix. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen.
Milky showed the race director for R7.
Yes. I am straight over onto that. Don't forget, guys, if you have any questions that you would like us to ask the top 3, do drop those messages down on the YouTube chat, and we will try our absolute best to take those through to the drivers. There are the penalties. Crew 6, the last one. So Voten, Lehman, and Etnick, hopefully we can bring them in for an interview. However, we're going to be heading into a short break, but don't worry, we will be right back with those driver interviews, so do stay tuned. position. Right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here with our second place man, Triton Lehman. That was a crazy race. Talk us through it.
Yeah, I got a good start at the beginning, and then it was a slave stream, but it was also funny fights. I lost a bit in the pit stops, and then Aragon caught to Photon, and they started to pull away in DRS. Then I started to push just to close the gap in, and I brought Ethnic Matthias, and yeah, and that's it to that and copy, and yeah, and it was like a big train, but then we had side by side with Aragon, and I didn't think he was so close. There was a little bit of a contact, nothing major, but then he was behind Matthias, and then something happened with McLaren's. But then it was very fun to till the end, and
Um,
uh, and sometimes it was basically crazy how insane the battles were, and yeah, it was a really good one.
for those points where you were right behind Photon or behind your teammate Matthias, were there ever any moments where you thought, okay, I'm just going to sit behind and try to pull away, or were you more aggressive, always looking for opportunities to get through?
I mean, if I felt pressure from behind from Matthias, I was basically running highest modes, not
Okay.
necessarily to overtake Photon because I knew he didn't have a penalty. So I just wanted to wait to lap 33, 34 just to push those laps till the end. But Matthias was pushing me as well, so it was basically like it's the worst situation you can get because you have to try to overtake the car ahead, and if you don't do so, the car behind overtakes you. And yeah, it was basically very close few times. It was a really nice battle with everyone, and yeah, it was a really good race.
Okay. Maku, do you have any questions?
So basically, we just did a bit of the numbers. With this race result, you and Matthias just scored 30 points, and you're up in 5th place now with Williams in the Constructors' Championship. What do you say about that?
Yeah, I said that P6 will be good last week, and now we are P5, so I'm happy.
And I think also with that in the championship, you actually move up into fourth place. So,
Fourth
well,
place? Are you
yeah,
kidding me?
you're fourth place now.
Ah,
How's that
okay.
one?
That's good, I think.
Well, congratulations, and I think everyone will be very happy to see Williams up on the podium. So, fantastic job. Your second place. Next time out, Britain, can you go one better?
At any track I can go on better if there is no other drivers. That's the sure thing. But it depends not only on me but also on other drivers because like I in Britain I feel like I'm okay, and and yeah I feel I can do some interesting things to you to broadcast, and it will be very nice fight as well. But you always need to take the point not only on your pace but also on others' pace because like I can feel that I have good pace, but somebody has basically the best pace of his whole calendar there. So but I feel like if everything, if like the power of drivers is going to remain same as it was, yeah, I can surely fight for for podium, for maybe for win. Of course, it's going to be like I think it's going to be really close again. I don't know if it's going to be like two cars at front, 5, 10. I have no idea, but yeah, for sure, it will be nice to be on podium at least. That's the goal for this league for me. And anything higher than P3 is basically very very satisfying
Okay.
because
Well,
yeah, it feels really good to score good results, especially in Austria where I don't like the track
all right.
so
Well,
much.
a fantastic job from yourself. A second podium in a row, and hopefully the start of many more to come. Thank you again, Lehman, for joining us, and once again, best of luck for Britain and for the rest of the season.
Thanks. Let me leave now because I'm in a call with friends.
Okay. All
see, see,
right.
see you.
See you, Lehman.
Yeah.
Have a good night, guys.
All right. Right, so that was your second place man, Triton Lehman, who picks up his second podium in a row. And, well, heading into Britain, Maku, do you think we can get a better race than we saw today?
Well, I think the race today was very special, was a very good thing. So it will be hard to get a better race in Britain, but Britain is a nice track. So, you know, I think it's possible with the right drivers.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in tonight. It was round 9 at Austria. If you haven't already, do head over to the ORL Twitter. You can hit us up with a follow at team_ORL, and you can get all updates of when we're going live, social events, and how to join the league. You can also see the link to join the Steam community in the YouTube description, as well as the ORL YouTube channel. We're just going off this channel because there is a few issues at the moment with the official channel, so hopefully we'll be back to that, I think in a month or so. You can also hit myself or Maku up with a follow on Twitter. You can see our Twitter links at the bottom of the screen. And from both of us, thank you very much for watching. We hope you have enjoyed the race. We will be back next week, 7:45 p.m. BST, as always, for round 10 from Great Britain. Thank you very much. And once again, stay fast. And we'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye.